All right. First of all, welcome and thank you for coming to this presentation. Today, I would like to focus on the future of translation business management system through AI. But first, let's talk about the past. Back in time, we used typing machine to translate documents, and we mailed everything to the supplier and the client, making your project quite long. And then fax came, allowing to transmit documents faster. And it is true that before computers' arrival, a lot of time went by between two technologies breakthroughs. As soon as the computers arrived, innovation came, one after the other one in lesser time. In the 90s, and some of you may remember this time, not me, sorry, when Excel arrived on the market, things changed. You could store way more data and in an organized way and analyze them also. So many companies used it, if not all of them. And even though some smaller companies are still using Excel today, we mainly use TBMS as a main tool. And most likely, we're going to stick to it for a while because there is a lot of potential of evolution, improvements, thanks to new technologies. Translation Business Management System, in other words, TBMS, I was saying that before, it is a software dedicated to translation industry. Unlike other management systems, it is very comprehensive for managing translation operations. And so it is very important to use such technology to manage, monitor, and control your projects. In the market, we find three types of companies. Those which don't use any TBMS, like Excel, for example. Those which self-develop their own system. And finally, those which purchase commercial ones. And the constant dilemma for LSP is whether investing in their own self-developed system or propriety system. And probably you experienced that, so I push you to share a little bit so that everybody can get your feedback on your experience. You can tell us if you had this dilemma first, what was your choice? Was it self-developed or proprietary system, and why at the end you made this choice? And I'm sure that a lot of people can learn from your experience and go through that also themselves. And so here on the screen you have the benefits and the limits of getting a self-developed system, even though both are very good choice, and you need to take into account all the long-term pros and cons under consideration. Now, today, a deeply developed TBMS offers plenty of functionalities for all the roles in the company. And you can see a list here, for example. So whether you are a salesperson, project manager, translator, editor, vendor manager, or even quality manager, you should be able to have all features you need to perform your work in one single TBMS. It mainly optimizes your processes and increases the time dedicated to the time that you have dedicated to more meaningful tasks by using automation. And as we are already using automation, what is the next step? And indeed, is AI. After all, this is the topic of today. So how can your TBMS become smarter with AI, right? I know you're very eager to know that, but first let's explain the difference between automation and AI, because I know it is really confusing. Automation is based on rules that humans set and that computer systems apply simply. We started to talk about artificial intelligence when Alan Turing asked the question, can machine think? And artificial intelligence doesn't apply rules like automation. but perform tasks that usually us human intelligence is required. And those tasks are performed through machine learning. We all have the impression that we've reached the maximum with automation, that we cannot use more automation to increase our TBMS performance, but it is not true. In fact, we have to see two different types of automation into the future of our TBMS. The first one is the automation by rules, this one in gold, and automation, the second one, the automation through machine learning. And as you can see, we are currently here in the gold zone, and we set standard rules to our machine. And believe me, we can still do a lot more. And now we also have the analytical thinking that is based on learning your pattern, how you work, and predict your next step based on experience. And so once both automation are enough developed, they will reach a point where both techniques merges, and then the machine can imitate the human intelligence. So the question is, when will we start to put AI in place? Shall we start AI? Because I said it before, plenty of opportunities with automation by rule. We still have a lot of opportunities in that area. So should we start AI now? Hell yeah, I say. As I said, AI needs to learn, needs to acquire knowledge, experience to predict the next move. Rules are set once for all, and you can use it immediately and benefit from the maximum efficiency. AI needs to grow with you like a new colleague who needs to understand your processes to learn how to achieve them. So, well, rules are easier to use, but have limitations in terms of efficiency, which is why AI is useful, at least if you want to go further in automation and perform tasks that are beyond a scope of set of rules. Okay, so we start AI, but where should we start? And what can AI learn from us? The first one I think is really simple, is the topic reconnections, because it's really simple, but it's not done yet. Today, TBMS doesn't offer a topic recognitions, even though it is already existing in other type of tools. AI in the future of TBMS can offer this feature integrated directly into your tool so that your supplier choice can be even more accurate. You'll be able to rely on the machine analysis and let the TBMS assign automatically the job to the best fitting supplier. Now, I would like to take like probably 2-3 minutes where you can write into the chat and let us know. When a project arrives, how do you know what workflow you should use? What do you take into account? Just take like a little break, write me down like something about this. And so maybe, Luce, you can tell everyone what is written into the chat, because I cannot see the chat. I can only see my presentation.
Yes, don't worry. It's about some technical issues people are having.
Okay, so people cannot write into the chat, or?
Yes, you're not able to see the participants' chat.
Ah, yeah, okay. So you will be able to.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So they said deadline, client's budget.
Perfect.
You went from MemSource, said that.
Just wait a little bit in case there's other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Diego said, Diego said,
yeah,
quality level requested by the customer. Shelly Alaba from Quality Works said word count.
Great, great. That's perfect. So, of course, some instructions from the client when they send you an email, for example, um, based on the client standard project type, because some client might always ask you the same language combination, topic, and then standard files, for example. Your client satisfactions, I heard that. So if the client was lately happy or not, and so if they were not, you might want to be extra careful and add as many steps as you want to, ensure good quality. Is there a key account or not key account? Quality expectation, and that I heard also. So quality expectation from the client, are they very picky or not? It's really important. And so much more that I heard also, and that we can all acknowledge that is true. So of course, in the future of your TBMS with AI will learn from you, from your behavior, and analyze all for you automatically to predict the best workflow, the workflow that you would use yourself. This may end up at the end with a full automatic launching of projects with the best accurate workflow. Yes, TBMS offers the possibility to enter several data about each project, allowing PMs to analyze and decide which project he or she should start with. Classifying a project propriety is something that priority is something that TBMS can do with automation by rule at a certain extent. So it is really easy to say, to set rules like if the due date of the client is less than 5 days and project duration is more than 50% left of the time, then it is a top priority. Very easy. Here, AI would help you to create those rules, as it can easily find patterns. It will be able to check all common criterion of projects that were delivered late. Find what type of projects are more likely to be delivered late and prioritize them so they don't end up being delivered late, right? Very powerful thing. Some of your TBMS offer today vendor management features by automating a reception of your supplier's application, sending them automatically a test before validating them into the database. But with AI, TBMS can go further and understand when you lack of suppliers in a certain area, like, for example, translation, English to French, I'm missing like in the topic of automotive. And so your TBMS with AI will be able to offer to suppliers in online directories, for example, and I'm not going to name any of them, but you know them, and that is super important to recruit the perfect candidates. And it will also send as much and recruit as much so that it is enough for you to make sure that you won't be missing any resources. Well, numerous TBMS offer statistics on the business. Some are very detailed and can tell you which type of clients you serve more. But you would need an extra effort to analyze several statistics to know which type of client you serve best. So based on all your activities, a TBMS with AI will point out your top target profiles and maximize your opportunities. It can tell you if you have a high potential lead or not. So you can target your effort on a high potential rather than on a low one. In the same area, the most advanced TBMS offer a prospecting emailing system where you can use many criterion to target a specific group of contacts and send them a personalized email. What if your future TBMS emailing system is enhanced by AI that will analyze the most complex world for you? Imagine AI suggesting you which email template to use and for which prospect profile, when to send them to get the most reach, which keywords to use to attract a prospect's attention, and even composing prospecting emails for you. Well, I was talking about classifying projects earlier, and I do think that dispatching them is also very important. So it is really easy to know the workload. I have a problem with log and workload. I don't know why today. Anyway, so the workload of each team member. So and suppliers, and that is thanks to automation. Today, TBMS can tell you how much work people have, how much time they have left based on a calendar, how long a project lasts. So ultimately, you know who is available or not, and who can take the project. With AI, and it's the same song all the time, with AI in your TBMS, you can go further and dispatch automatically projects depending not only on PM's workload, but also PM reactivity, client satisfactions, and so on. Your TBMS won't answer anymore the question, who is available for my project, but who is the best fit for managing this project at this particular moment. Here you have a short list showing you how AI can affect positively your TBMS, enhance increase your productivity. Those are probably the most obvious developments that you can do with AI. But if you open your mind to this world, your TBMS can do so many things for you. Okay, I know that at this point, all the things that you're thinking are, well, all right, so AI with TBMS equal bosses, super happy, not much to worry about, making money, and the team is replaced. Well, I can say, look at the bright side. You can now enjoy your life free of work, spend your time with your friends, spend your time with family, or lay in front of Netflix, which is the most appropriate nowadays. But this is not true, because LSP's bosses will still need a team. And why? Because you have a real brain. With all the wonders that I say, you know, why? Why should LBS bosses need a real team? Well, artificial intelligence is applied only within one environment, your data. It will not be able to invent and decide new things. A human being knows what happens outside of the company and knows variable of the industry, laws, outside innovations. So AI cannot tell you to extend your market to a new profile of prospects AI wouldn't expect an explosion of subtitling markets with streaming platforms, no? Only a human PM can propose new lines of services. AI wouldn't have told you that you could suggest post editing services to clients when MT entered the market. Only human being validates a new supplier by assessing his work. Or do you expect AI to judge? Certainly not. Only human being, us, can negotiate with a defined prospect because AI will not pick up the phone and discuss on client dilemma. Because only human will create a strong bond with your client. AI won't be able to evaluate their goals, their fears, and their expectations about your services, nor establish a trustful relationship. So to conclude, don't worry about TBMS with AI, but embrace it because there's a lot of opportunity that will open to you. And of course, as I said, AI needs data. So start right now and, feed your AI with your data. So that was my presentation about TBMS with AI. I hope you liked it. And I would like to open that to Q&A right now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And then I would ask also either Steve or Luz to add this question into the pool. Would you, after this presentation, are you yay or nay with TBMS with AI? And if you don't have questions, well, you can share your feelings, so it can be like a little networking about what do you feel about TBMS with AI? Are you afraid of it? What challenges you see with it, and so on. So here you go. I'll let you speak and I'll just listen.
Thank you, Christine. As you said, we must embrace AI. That's what we are here for, to open our minds, to not be afraid of this new benefits we can get from AI. Am I right?
Yeah.
We are all very, I talk for myself, a bit scared because we don't know. So that's why we're here to learn. We really appreciate and thank you for your presentation. Let me see if there's any question for you. I remind everyone, in the little message box, you can drop questions if you have any.
I can also see that the poll is open, so you just have to yay or nay.
Oh yes, the poll is open?
Yes.
Perfect.
So, if anyone would like to share the feeling about it, feel free to just ask. I think you can request to speak, and so that probably Steve will allow you into the discussion panels and things like this. You can share what you think about it if you're a little bit scared about it, because I know that we still have like 10 minutes. We're not obliged to use it all, but it might be beneficial to start having a little networking sessions with the people that attended.
There is a question from Diego.
Yes.
When some of these features will be really available for LSPs and LSP suite, LBS suite.
So it's a very good question. It's as soon as possible that I will answer, because there's one challenge into all that, of course, is data. So you have to understand that AI needs a lot of data to be able to do all those things. So ultimately, we would need data and time, and so as soon as possible, and we're trying to work on it, things like this.
Great.
So I see
I think Yanis is trying to to
Yeah, I
join
have also,
and ask?
yes, and I have
Oh, there's a
also
question
someone else.
from
Yes.
Ewan, if I may. Thanks for your interesting presentation. It's really interesting point of combining AI with TBMS. Would it be possible to integrate with a third-party tool, for example, a CAT tool?
It is already integrated with CAT tools. For example, it's most often integrated with SDL, MemoQ, MemSource, and it is already integrated with them. So you can, from your TBMS, be able to create projects into your CAT tool. And so all the data is pulled in and out. So this is more integration per se, like with other tools that we can do. This is something that we can already do without machine learning. Like, AI needs to learn, definitely.
All right. There's one more question from Ioannis Cassius from Technografia.
Yes.
How possible is AI to misguide you to decision making?
How AI is, sorry?
I think how can AI misguide your decision making or influence your decision making? I don't know if he means for example, for the email patterns, or Ioannis, if you want to elaborate your question.
I think he asked to speak. So if someone can just allow him to go into.
Yes,
and
Ioannis
also
is trying
Dieter.
to join. Okay.
Yeah, okay, good. And so I think if you can unmute yourself, you can start to speak. Oh.
Hi, Christine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I was watching the presentation, and I'm always concerned about AI misguiding you to making decisions. For example, you talked about automating emails and leads, and AI more or less guiding you into a direction by the data that you have fed it, if I understood correctly.
Yes.
How possible it is to misguide you and probably exclude other options from the overall decision making process?
That is actually the very good point that I actually mentioned at the end, that we still need a team. Like, of course, all this thing will need your data and is going to stay into your environment of data. So if you want to go outside of the box, AI, it's not sufficient. You need real people. You need real brain that can think outside of the box and say, okay, now stop that. I have another idea. Let's try it out. And so it's now then that you will be able to try other things and feed again new ideas to your actual AI. So all inventions, innovations, leave it to your team. Don't delete them. Leave it to your team, and they will work on that matter. Creativity and things like this is proper to us, proper to our brain. The AI will only do, whatever you are already doing.
So it could have a supportive role.
Exactly.
To all of the process is not actively suggesting things.
So
Am I understanding this correctly?
He's going to predict, like, you will suggest hey, for example, you are taking the emailing system, for example, you have a big data, you have sent a lot of things, then you will have, for example, hey, this one worked a lot with this type of person and things like this. The power of AI, of the machine, is that it will be able to analyze all the data, a big kind of data, to analyze it for you. You as a human, it's a little bit limited for you to analyze every single thing, and then the machine can do it just like this for you. So that is going to suggest you based on whatever result you had.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah. Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
I just want to remind everyone that the polls are open. And Christine, just let me know when you want to end the poll and publish the results. Just give me the verbal.
I think there's one last question, and then
Yes.
we can just end it up.
There is a question from Ewan from RoomSource. So the PMs can suggest or provide feedback to optimize the future AI suggestions?
Yes, actually at the real beginning, you will have to work with it. So we'll have to, when you will have the TBMS with AI, at the real beginning, it will probably have already like some kind of settings already somehow, but you will have to be the one to set it up with your own behavior and analysis. And of course, we'll probably have some, of course, in the future, so right, we'll probably have some, as I said, it's AI, it's still like something where you have the machine learning and you have the automation. So both combined will be the AI. So the part where you can set rules will still be here, will remain here.
Thank you. I hope that answered your question, Ewan. I think it did. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So if you want,
all right, so yeah, if there's no one, we can just take a look at the poll, the result of the poll, and leave it to Anna.
Okay,
Okay,
so
the poll
hell
results
yes.
are public.
Yeah, I did my job. Very nice results. So of course, I mean, you can grab my contacts. We can discuss about it anytime. And if I see a lot of people interested about this topic, why not making a session on Zoom or whatever platform to discuss about it and share our experience and fears and whatever thing.
That's great. Thank you very much, Christine. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. And
yeah.